Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Week 3 is officially done, and I think I can safely say right now, as of 5/23, September 26th, the Miami Dolphins have the best offense in the NFL by a mile. What a fucking shit kicking. Just scoring 70 points is unheard of. It's literally just unheard of. Even in the history of the NFL, it's only happened 3 times. We will get into that game, though. I am so excited to talk about that game. So many good things. But yeah, this week 3 slate of games, I mean, there was a lot of heavy favorites going into the week. We saw a fair amount of upsets. Actually, no, we saw quite a bit of upsets, if we're actually being honest. What was looking like a weak slate, actually, the week wasn't that great, but any week of NFL football is a great week. This episode, just me for this week. Chu was supposed to be joining me on this podcast. Work schedule, he couldn't make it. He will be on Friday's episode instead now, previewing that Patriots-Cowboys game, which should be a decent matchup. But yeah, on slate for this episode, as always, we'll do the Week 3 recap. But to start it off, we will go with the NFL Weekly Update. Just a few notes to touch up around on through the league. Former Chiefs guard and I guess Jets guard, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the man out of Mont-Saint-Hilaire, Quebec, has retired officially from the NFL, was a 6th-round pick in 2013, played 6 years for the Kansas City Chiefs, was a Super Bowl champion on that 2019 team. Had a very good career. He was someone who, I mean, obviously wasn't highly touted, played at McGill. If you're not Canadian, that's one of the universities in Montreal. Just kind of worked his way up. I think people thought he was going to be some, great CFL lineman. And no, turns out he was a pretty damn good NFL offensive lineman. He was very good at one point. He was very good. And then once COVID hit, I should have said Dr. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif has retired from the NFL. But yeah, once COVID hit, he went back to work in healthcare, went back to work in the hospitals that were overrun with COVID. Great man of character. Was awesome seeing Duvernay-Tardif MD on the back of a jersey. Yeah, it was definitely a shorter career, but I don't think he regrets anything, especially coming away with the Super Bowl. Wishing nothing but the best for our Canadian boy. Next note up, another offensive line news. Pretty sure that I reported that the Bengals cut La'el Collins a couple weeks ago. He has now passed his physical. He is free to sign anywhere now, I believe, and someone will definitely give him a contract. I'm not sure exactly who. There's definitely a lot of teams that need offensive line help, and I mean, the team that cut him just instantly came to mind because their offensive line's still kind of smelly. Ravens have been banged up. Maybe they look at him. A lot of teams need offensive line help. Someone will sign this man very quickly. Just interested to see where he actually ends up. If he ends up with a contender or if he just kind of gets the most money he can and just kind of plays it out for a year, get better, and then hopefully gets another bag this offseason. I guess we'll see for La'el Collins. Last note up for the weekly update. The Super Bowl halftime show was announced, and it's Usher. Usher, who hasn't put out an album, I think, since 2016. And even that album in 2016, I'm trying to remember, and I mean, like, with the work I do, I am in work trucks a lot of the day. We listen to the radio way too much. It's the same 10 songs on a loop. don't remember Usher in 2016 very much, that's for sure. Does he have some bangers? Of course he has some bangers, but I'm just a little confused about why we went with Usher for the halftime show. I'm sure he'll be good, and I'm sure he'll bring out a ton of musical guests to feature and share the spotlight with him, but just Usher, not that great, especially considering I just saw that the CFL, their Grey Cup halftime show, is Carrie Underwood. Would I put Carrie Underwood above Usher? It's pretty damn close, and considering the CFL got Carrie Underwood and all the NFL got was Usher, big ups for the CFL. That's all I know. Show will still be fun, but meh. I mean, he should sing Yeah. That's a great song. That's a banger. He has some bangers. It's just, I'm underwhelmed by Usher. And I think I'm allowed to be underwhelmed by him performing the halftime show. Yeah, that's quite literally all we have for NFL Weekly Update. So let's get into the Week 3 recap. Okay, as always, we will start with the games that we just watched last night, Monday Night Football. We'll start with the more primetime game, I guess. Rams versus Bengals. Rams 16, Bengals 19. Good football was not played between these two teams last night. It was very sloppy. Let's just start off with the Bengals, though. It is very evident that Joe Burrow is still hurt. He has not been able to push the ball down the field like he can. But even with that, even let's say Joe Burrow is operating right now at 70% health. It's fine. I would take Joe Burrow at 70% over a lot of NFL quarterbacks currently. And the fact that Zach Taylor and this offense has looked so bad, not even like they've been average. They have been a bad offense to start this year. And yeah, you can fault Joe Burrow for being hurt right now. I'm not. When you have guys like Jamar Chase, who they finally got involved, you literally just need to put the ball in his hands, and that's what he does. I don't know where that was for the first 2 weeks, but that should have been the game plan all along. Short passes to Jamar Chase, let him get those yak yards. T. Higgins absolutely stunk yesterday, but T. Higgins is a very good player. Like, the offensive line, I was shitting on the offensive line, but the offensive line's been better than it has been. It's just, the offense is too good on paper for even with Joe Burrow functioning at 70%. It should be better. It should be better. I'm calling out Coach Zach Taylor. I think that he is lucky that he has been gifted this good of an offense for him, and the fact that Lou Anarumo has not left for a head coaching job. He is a very good defensive coordinator. That defense is still humming. And if it wasn't for Lou, I think Zach Taylor would have been fired for now. Been fired by now. It's really, I mean, the Bengals are going to get back on track. Joe will get healthy. It's just a matter of when, I guess, because you can't have that, like, too many more games like that, especially against a Rams team who I'm not high on. I think I'll talk about the Rams in a bit, but 19 points, Monday Night Football, primetime game at home, like, come on. It's not great. Should be better. The Rams had multiple chances to win this game. Just didn't end up happening. It was a close game. Was a very, very, very smelly game, though. Do I have anything else? Oh, yeah, let's talk about this Bengals defense, because this Bengals defense is still very good. DJ Reader, one of the best defensive tackles in football. He was an absolute force all night. Trey Hendrickson, obviously, being disruptive on the edge. And I think second-year player now, Dax Hill, he was flying all around the field. He had a couple big plays. I think he had a big tackle for loss in the backfield on Kyren Williams. Also had a sack on Matt Stafford. It was fun to see him get used in different ways on the field. It looks like the Bengals found a good one. Yeah, Bengals defense, still a force. The offense needs to get going, and I think it will. It's just a matter of time. But I don't know. It's Not looking good. Offense should be better. Offense should be better, and I think we can just kind of leave it at that. For the Rams, I think we've kind of seen the ceiling with this team. I think if they go up against a team that's good defensively, good to very good defensively, their offense will sputter just a bit. Puka Nacua did not have double-digit catches again, only had 7 on the game. I know, wild. What a bum. Matt Stafford came back down to earth a little bit, had some really good throws, but kind of leveled off of where Matt Stafford is and where Matt Stafford's been for his career, which is still very good, especially in the NFC. And yeah, they traded away Cam Akers last week to the Vikings, let Kyren Williams know, hey, you're the one getting all the touches. Maybe they should have waited a little bit to see if Kyren Williams was actually good. Kyren Williams is not good. Kyren Williams is okay. Fantasy purposes wise, he will just be a touchdown merchant. If he doesn't score a touchdown, I think most of his outputs for the rest of the season, fantasy wise, will not be productive, will not be good. In the group chat last night, talking with Moob a little bit, I mentioned that I think this offense could take another level once Cooper Kupp gets back. And he's of the opinion that once Kupp gets back, Puka Nacua is going to be just not used anymore, which I disagree with. I brought up that obviously it was a much, much younger Cooper Kupp, but when the Rams had the trio of Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp, I think we could see something similar with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Tutu Atwell. Should be fun. Rams defense has been playing well given who they have actually starting for them. Aaron Donald is still Aaron Donald. It has been a joy to watch that man dominate football for the past 11 years now. Yeah, but I think this is kind of what the Rams are going to be. I think they're going to kind of hover around being... I think they'll be around a 7-win team, which sucks. I have their win total at under 6.5. So hopefully they're a 6-win team, not a 7-win team, but they've shown enough. They have that fight. Sean McVay is still a very, very good coach. Yeah, the Rams are fine. Rams are all right. Moving on to the other Monday Night Football game. Eagles-Buccaneers. Eagles 25, Buccaneers 11. Was a scoregami. Somehow, it's a weird score for a scoregami. I mean, the Eagles did get a safety, and then I think that the Bucs went for 2 at some point, and then kicked a field goal, and that's how they got 11. But either way, 25-11 for the Eagles. I can praise the Eagles all I want, and I can. And I will to start off, and then I'll kind of get into a little bit, not slander, but just facts. The run game is still electric. A lot because of that offensive line, but DeAndre Swift has been very, very good playing for his hometown Eagles team, which I didn't realize. I didn't realize that he was kind of from the Philly area, grew up a diehard Eagles fan. Now he gets to rep that Eagles jersey. Super cool for him. Swift had 130 yards on the day after having 175 the week before. That man has been on a tear. That man has been on a mission. He has been very good. Yet they still gave Kenneth Gainwell 14 carries on the game. Don't know why. Obviously, you don't want to give Swift 30 carries a game. I don't think Gainwell's the guy, though. I think you have a guy on the bench, Rashad Penny, who over the last 2 seasons has averaged 6 yards a carry. Maybe give him a few touches. Maybe let's start to get Gainwell out of the mix here. Run game's very good, and a big reason for that is because of that Eagles offensive line. There was some screen caps from last night's game where it's just the hole in the middle of the field for Swift to just run through was like 5 yards wide. I saw someone tweet or quote tweet that and be like, this is why like the average NFL fan thinks that they can run for 10 yards in the league, because this is the hole that they think that they're going to get every time. And it's like, hey, maybe if I do have the Eagles offensive line, I could get 10 yards in a game. Very, very, very doubtful, but I like to believe in myself. So So Eagles' offensive line, run game, very, very good. Their front seven is just another level. Just the amount of depth, the amount of young pieces, and those young pieces are so fucking good. Jalen Carter is an absolute animal. Jordan Davis, also an animal. And then, they got the old guys with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Is Brandon Graham still there? I think Brandon Graham's still there. He might have retired, actually. But then, like Reddick and Josh Sweat, another rookie, Nolan Smith. They've just got guys. They've got dudes. That front seven is one of the best in the league. They just constantly get pressure, and that's what they need to do. That front seven needs to generate a ton of pressure. One thing, though, I'm getting very tired of seeing people be like, oh, I can't believe 9 teams passed on Jalen Carter. We're so quickly to forget that Jalen Carter showed up to his workouts not in shape, didn't have good interviews, and also was street racing his teammate who then died in a car crash along with another member of the team. So, let's not talk Jalen Carter was squeaky clean off the field and somehow he slipped. There was issues. Obviously, are these going to be lingering off-field issues? I doubt it. But it gave teams enough pause for concern to be like, let's take a step back here and really evaluate this guy. He landed in the perfect situation with the Eagles, with a lot of his former teammates to keep him in check. Again, I think that he's going to have a spectacular career, but the whole, how did he get to 10? There's a reason why he got to 10. Let's not be obtuse here. I don't know why I said obtuse, but obtuse is a word that works in that situation. The Eagles' offense, though. The Eagles' offense it doesn't look the same as last year. Obviously, different offensive play caller now with Brian Johnson calling the plays instead of Shane Steichen. But, again, the offense still looks very, very good. Last year, it was elite, though. And I think that whenever they play a team that is able to stop their run game, again, which is very hard to do, I don't think that passing attack has really been there. Things have looked off. Things have looked a little iffy. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, he had a really nice dot to... I know the guy's first name in my head. I don't know how to pronounce it, though, but it's Olamide Zaccheaus. I think that's how you say that name, but there was a dot to him. That was a great ball. But the passing game just doesn't look as in sync. Everything doesn't look as in sync as it did last year. And again, that's really nitpicking because the Eagles' offense is still very good. It's just not elite anymore. I don't think, and maybe they have the chance to get it back to that elite status, but right now it's just not there. Just me being picky. Last note on the Eagles. Too many people are calling for the so-called tush push to be banned. Stop it. The Bucs, I think the Bucs actually did stop it on one of the 4th downs, and they didn't overturn the call, unfortunately. But the Eagles are also the only ones who have been able to do this consistently and at this high of a level of getting first downs. Other teams have tried to replicate it. Other teams have been stopped trying to do this exact same thing. I'm not going to fault the Eagles for looking at their offensive line, looking at their quarterback, and being like, yeah, we're going to do this every time in short yardage because we're going to get the first down. It's like telling the Dolphins, hey, your guys can't all be that fast. You can only have one fast guy on the team. That's not fair for everyone else. You're right. It's not fair for everybody else. That's for damn sure. But yeah, enough with the ban the tush push. It's being a bunch of crybabies. The Bucs, on the other hand, what can I really say about the Bucs? Mike Evans had a crazy catch where one-handed grab where the defender was coming, and then he just basically kind of rode on top of the defender for a little bit. Wild catch, great catch from him. Baker Mayfield on the night. Baker came back down to earth. Oh, I should also add, this was a very rainy game. It just started to pour kind of midway through the second quarter, I believe. Rain really started to come down. Baker finally came back down to earth after going on his Fitzmagic run, but as I said last week, it has to end eventually. It comes in waves. It comes in waves when you got a guy like Baker. It just wasn't his day, but this is something to expect. This Bucks team they aren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I think that they play hard. I think that Baker plays hard, and I think that the offensive guys around that feed off his energy, which is good, which is needed. I think I probably had them as picking in the top 5 or around there. I think, again, I don't think that they'll be the worst team in the NFC South this year. Probably not. I don't know. The NFC South is all just kind of, the Bucks could win that division. The Bucks could come last in that division. NFC South is the wild, wild west right now. We will move on from the Monday night and go all the way back to Thursday night. Giants against the Niners. Giants 12, 49ers 30. Realistically, if you want to listen to a recap of this game, go back and listen to Friday's episode, because I absolutely fucking nailed it again. The game went under. Nick Bosa was a force. The Giants couldn't do anything without Saquon out there. The lack of Daniel Jones running kind of surprised me, but yeah, I don't know. I guess let's talk about the Niners a little bit. Everything looks good. Brandon Ayuk wasn't playing. They still scored 30. One thing, and people have started to talk, it looks like Brock Purdy has come back down to earth a little bit. And with that being said, he's not the guy from last year who played absolutely lights out perfect. Is he still playing very, very well? Yeah, of course he is. But now you can see the mistakes and see some of the throws that, you should be hitting those. He's more regressing to the mean of being a game manager rather than someone who can elevate the guys around him. Now, is he a Jimmy G? No. I think he's still better than Jimmy G. I think he runs this offense better than Jimmy G did. But is he in that game manager territory right now? I definitely think he is, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's kind of what the Niners need right now. And I mean, they were paying Jimmy G, $20 million something a year, and now they're paying Mr. Irrelevant like $750K to be their starting quarterback for the next 2 more seasons after this before they have to pay him or move on or whatever. But Brock Purdy's still good. The Niners are very, very good still. Number 1 team in my power rankings right now. Probably won't move until they lose or until other bigger things happen, but we shall see. We will keep moving on. Actually, do we need to talk about the Giants? Yes, it was the Matt Breida revenge game for the Giants. Matt Breida finished with, I don't think he had that good of a day, actually, but let's just see what Matt Breida finished with here. Matt Breida had 4 carries for 17 yards. Wow. Yeah, but as I was talking, it's like, I don't know why Daniel Jones, who's a very good runner of the football, only had 2 carries or 2 attempts for 5 yards. Seems like something that, hey, maybe if you don't have your dynamic running option out of the backfield, maybe try to use Daniel Jones a little more on the run game. They chose not to. Definitely bit them in the ass. They weren't winning this game anyways. Was the Niners game all the way. Yeah, so we shall keep going. First Sunday afternoon game, early slate. Chargers 28, Vikings 24. Game came down to the wire. No, I'll be nice for the Chargers for at least a little bit. Herbert had his best game of the season so far. Finished with... He was 40 for 47, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception. He is still the only quarterback to not throw or not have a turnover on the season yet. Very good for him. Keenan Allen, great game. 18 catches, 215 yards, no touchdowns. He is a stud, though. Happy that he's kind of proving some of the doubters wrong. I think me included. I thought Keenan Allen was going to regress a little bit coming into this year. No, he's showing out. He is showing out greatly. I mean, right now he's top 10 receiver in football. I think you could say that with relative ease anyways. Yeah, Chargers offense is very, very good. It has been clicking with new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. Obviously, they are missing their best offensive player, Austin Eckler, still. Hopefully he's back soon. I think he will be. But yeah, this Chargers offense is clicking right now, and they won this game, but oh my god, did they try to throw this game away at the end. Justin Herbert, they were marching down the field to take the lead, and I don't know who this defensive back was. I think it might have been Byron Murphy, but you got to stop eating popcorn on the sidelines, getting your fingers all buttery, because Herbert threw a perfect pass to the DB right off his hands, right into the hands of Josh Palmer for a touchdown. That ended up being the game-winning touchdown. Even though, and then after Herbert did that and whatever, touchdown happens, boom. The Vikings drove down the field, punted, Chargers get the ball. I think they're on like their 25-yard line or something like that. 4th and 2, Brandon Staley is like, you know what? I'm going to go for this. I'm not going to punt, trust my defense. I'm going to put my opponent right in scoring territory with not a lot of time left on the clock. And that's exactly what he did. Luckily for him, the Vikings just aren't that good of a team. They have now moved to 0-3 in one-score games after being 11-0 to start last year. Or they were 11-0 last year. I don't get it with Brandon Staley. I truly don't. He tries to be really aggressive when he shouldn't be. He's really what's the opposite of aggressive? Passive, I guess. He's very passive when he should be aggressive in situations, and he's aggressive when he should be passive. I don't get it. That man is in his own head. He needs to figure it out. I don't think he will. I don't think the Chargers let him figure it out either. I don't care how this season goes for them. The only way Brandon Staley saves his job, I think the Chargers need to win a playoff game for Brandon Staley to save his job. And I don't even know if you win a playoff game if you want Brandon Staley around still. Either way, great win for the Chargers. Good on them to get their first win of the season. I think they have an easier matchup next week. I could be wrong, though. They play the Raiders. They're going to kick the shit out of them. Let's talk about one more Chargers note. Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams is out for the season now. He tore his ACL. Very, very unfortunate it's the Chargers. I don't know what it is, but every year their players get hurt, and it's awful. I don't get it, but the Chargers are cursed in that way, like the Ravens and some other teams. Because the Ravens injury report, god damn. Yeah, so Mike Williams is out for the rest of the year. Canadian Josh Palmer came in relief, got that touchdown, had a few other good catches. But now I am expecting to see rookie Quinn Johnson shine. This is his time to step up. This is his time to get involved, because through the first 3 weeks of the season, hasn't really been involved whatsoever. Has been a non-factor in most games, and you're seeing other rookie receivers like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Jaden Reed. I'm forgetting one of the bigger ones that Jordan Addison is also playing very well. And here you have Quinn Johnson, who's hasn't really had his chance to show out yet, and I'm sure that he'll get it, but you got to show out, because these guys who were picked behind you have been really showing out, and the pressure is on. It should be fine. It should be fine. The Vikings, on the other hand, I mean, Kirk statistically throughout the year he's on pace to smash almost every record in the book, but they're 0-3. Not, I don't know. It's just, this is the Vikings. This is who the Vikings should have been last year. They're kind of still playing the same way. Their offense is scoring a lot of points. Their defense just sucks. Their defense flat out sucks. I know I've said Brian Flores, the DC, still very good, and I still believe that. He dials up the blitzes a lot, and that's kind of what he does, and that's what that Flores system is dial up the blitz, and if they don't get home, the big play will be there, and the Vikings secondary is just buns in general, so it's easy to torch them. I don't see any turnaround for the Vikings here. If I was them and you know that you're moving on from Kirk Cousins after this season, I would trade him now. I would trade him to a team like the Jets, who are desperate, are trying to be in a win now mode. I don't know what you get for him. If you get a third, you take it. If you get a fourth, you take it. If you know that Kirk is not in your future plans, you've started off 0-3, bring in, I don't even know who their backup fucking quarterback is, bring in him, lose, try with one of these rookie quarterbacks, see if that happens, and obviously you have to keep Justin Jefferson happy, but yeah, not a great start for the Vikings, and I don't really see it changing, really. We'll keep moving on, though. Bills at Commanders. Bills 37, Commanders 3. Commanders kicked a sad field goal so they wouldn't get shut out in that game. Yeah, the Bills are going to roll. The Bills are one of the best teams in football, one of the best offenses in football. And they play the Dolphins this week, and that game will be, I can't wait. I'm so excited for that game. I really don't have much on this game because it's just, the Bills kicked the shit out of them, as they should. Bills defense has been very, very good to start the year. Their pass rush has been good. Josh Allen didn't even need to play great. He was 20 of 32, 218 yards, a passing touchdown, 1 interception, 46 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. James Cook had a good day running. Diggs, 111 yards. Like, the offense is just clicking right now. The offense is humming. Talk about the man who replaced Tremaine Edmonds, Terrell Bernard. I don't know. Either way, he had a very good game. He has been very good for the Bills in taking over that starting job. He had 2 sacks and an interception in that game against the Commanders over the weekend. Ed Oliver, a sack and a half. Daquan Jones, a sack and a half. They are getting pressure with the guys that they have right now, and they are still waiting for Von Miller to come back from his injury. Watch out for the Bills. I think that's all I can say is watch out for the Bills. Miami versus Bills is going to be absolute fireworks. I cannot wait. From the Commanders side, Sam Howell has come back down to earth after starting relatively well for his career. On last week's Wednesday show, I did say that Sam Howell, NFL quarterback. I still stand by that. Did he have 4 interceptions in this game? Yes. But NFL quarterback, and I said this last Wednesday, also means I think he could just be a backup for a long time. And I think Sam Howell could be a backup for a long time. But I think he will be an NFL quarterback in this league for a decent while. Will have a good career. Will be able to retire with his career earnings and not have to get another job like some guys do. Not a good game from the Commanders. I'm sure that they'll bounce back. Brian Robinson has been very, very good to start the year. That is a man I doubted coming out of Alabama. He has proved me wrong. Yeah. And maybe, I think they stopped giving Antonio Gibson the ball. He fumbles way too much. We shall keep going with Saints-Packers. Saints 17, Packers 18. Great fourth quarter comeback by the Packers and Jordan Love. He really turned it on when they needed it most because the rest of that game, he kind of stunk. Yeah, and the Packers are now 2-1, and we want to talk about one of these very injured teams right now. It is it's the Green Bay Packers. Like, Aaron Jones missed this game. Christian Watson also missed this game. David Bakhtiari missed the game. I think that Elkin Jenkins also missed the game. Jair Alexander also missed the game. They were without a lot of guys, and they have been in every game that they've played in. Still haven't faced a real tough opponent yet, I'll say that, but they've come ahead a lot. They have come out ahead a lot in these matchups, and I mean, that's obviously why they're 2-1, but the Packers have something. I don't know what it is, but they have something. Jury's still out on Jordan Love. Again, I feel like I need to see more consistency about what he does, because I've seen him flash. I've seen some absolutely terrible moments. He seems to have an issue with just his footing and his feet slipping out from under him. He had the QB sneak last week where the whole offensive line didn't go except for him. And then this week he was scrambling, and then slipped and stumbled, and he had a guy wide open for a first down and then just missed him because he lost his footing. I think Jordan Love has been pretty good. He will get more reps, and we need more consistency, and we need to see how this Packers team looks like with their full offensive arsenal. I think that it's Lions-Packers this week, so that should be a fun game. On the Saints side, though, lucky for them, Alvin Kamara is back this week, because boy, do they need the help. It's just not good. Derek Carr left the game with an injury, did not come back. I think he has a shoulder injury. Yes, AC joint. He's week to week right now. So that means we get famous Jameis. Jameis Winston is coming in. We'll see if he's learned not to be an idiot yet. I'm unsure, but we'll find out very quickly. Obviously, Saints getting back Kamara will be a huge help. Part of me thinks that next week could be a big Taysom Hill game. With Alvin Kamara back, get Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston in at quarterback. They don't really like him anyways, but we shall see. Not a lot of good things to say about the Saints, really. Shout out to Chris Olave, though. 8 catches, 104 yards. Also, shout out to Jimmy Graham for catching a touchdown. Wild that he is catching touchdown passes in 2023, but hey, he's out here doing it at the age of 36. Good for him. Moving on to a game that I honestly didn't watch that much. The only note I have down for this game is Sam Laporta is an absolute monster. Falcons 6, Lions 20. Sam Laporta is an absolute monster. I don't know what it is in Iowa and them just breeding these great NFL tight ends. You got guys like George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson. I'll even throw Noah Fant's name out there. He's still been solid. And now you got a guy like Sam Laporta who looks to be the next one. He had 8 catches on the day for 84 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, I mean, I can say the Falcons defense. I like this Falcons defense. This is a good Falcons defense. They played one of the better offenses in the NFL, held their own. But really, it's this Falcons offense, which is just mind-numbingly painful to watch at times. The script got away from them early, and that's why Desmond Ridder had to throw the ball 38 times. I think Arthur Smith doesn't want Ridder throwing more than 25 times in a game, I could probably say. Bijan only got 10 carries on the ground, because that's what you have to do. You have to stop this run game, and it kind of shuts down the Falcons in general. Falcons loved using their tight ends this week, though. Kyle Pitts, 5 catches for 41 yards. Jonnu Smith, 5 catches for 37 yards. So the fact that Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts are getting like equal target share, yeah, that's something of note, I guess. I don't understand it, but here we are. Here we are. I don't have much to say on this game. Lions are a good team. Both teams now 2-1. I think they'll get back on track more next week. Next game up, the Tennessee Titans 3, Browns 27. Browns played very, very well. The Predator, the Nasty Man, I hate to say it, but he had his best game as a Cleveland Brown so far. He looked like old Watson again, was evading pressure, escaping sacks that he probably shouldn't have. Like, I think the Titans, how many times? The Titans sacked him 3 times on the day. He should have been sacked 7, I'd say. Watson, very good day, though. 27 of 33, 289 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns. Jerome Ford stunk. 10 carries for 18 yards. Yeesh. Pierre Strong was actually their best back of the day if we're going off averages. But, yeah, the Browns, this is the first time that the Browns offense, or at least passing offense, has looked in sync. Obviously kind of riding that emotional wave from last week with the Nick Chubb injury. This was definitely an emotional win for them, wanting to get that win for their teammate. I have to start factoring that into my betting to be like, oh, this guy just had like a really bad injury, like the heart of the team. Not always a detriment to that team, especially in the next week, because I think that the next week those guys really want to play hard for the guy that just got hurt. And that's exactly what happened. The Browns' defense has also been ferocious to start this year. Top 3 defense in football at this moment. Myles Garrett, welcome to the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He had 3.5 sacks on the day. I don't know if people saw this clip, but towards, I don't know at what stage in the game this was, but obviously Myles Garrett was a havoc. Titans could not stop him. Titans' offensive line is so bad. But Titans started going in jumbo sets, having 2 tight ends on the field, and if Myles Garrett would move from one tackle to the other tackle, those 2 tight ends would follow him. So Myles Garrett was just like, okay, I'm just going to move back and forth. And are you guys going to follow me until the play clock runs out? Titans ended up getting a delay of game because of that. But it is just wild the amount of respect that Myles Garrett garners from opposing teams' offenses and offensive lines where, yeah, this guy's so good, we're going to have 2 tight ends just shadow him wherever he lines up on the field. Garrett figured that out pretty quickly and was able to exploit them for it. But, yeah, Myles Garrett, welcome to the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. What other things do I have to talk about this game? Yeah. Oh, the Amari Cooper catch where it should have been a touchdown and the ref said he stepped out of bounds. He wasn't even close to stepping out of bounds, so that was kind of bullshit. Titans, though, I can't tell if this Titans offense is just old or their offensive line is just so bad right now. Offensive line also without first-round pick Peter Skoronski. I think that did make a pretty decent difference in this game. But like Ryan Tannehill, old, kind of losing it. Derrick Henry has not shown to be what Derrick Henry can be and what he's used to being. I'm still waiting for Tractor Cedo season that comes usually in November when the weather starts getting cold. Derrick Henry just keeps on going. Yeah. So, and again, they did face a really, really good Browns defense, and the Browns defense obviously keying in on Derrick Henry, letting that pass rush get there because you got old-ass Ryan Tannehill throwing to old-ass DeAndre Hopkins, and Hopkins has looked pretty good to start the year, but yeah, I think I'm on the page where Titans offense is just so bad because their offensive line is so bad. I think if they had an average offensive line, I think this offense would actually be pretty good and it could get humming with guys like Hopkins and Treylon Burks and Chigi Okonkwo, and that run game going with Derrick Henry and rookie Tyjae Spears. Yeah, Titans, fine team. They're a fine team. We'll keep moving, though. We will go to one of the... Is this the first upset that I've talked? Yes, this is the first upset of the day. Texans 37, Jags 17. Listen, a game that not many people would have picked the Texans to win money line. I know I definitely didn't. Good. I'm great for the Texans. Great for the Texans. CJ Stroud has been absolutely unbelievable to start his career so far. The amount of poise and composure that guy has on collapsing pockets is great, and his touch and anticipation on his throws, it's very, very good. This is kind of what we saw from CJ Stroud when they went against that Georgia team in the college football playoffs, and I think that was the game where I'm like, man, is CJ Stroud really QB1 of this class? I went away from it because as the weeks and the months goes on, as we got further away from that Georgia game, got out of my memory a little bit. Should have went back and watched that, because this is the CJ Stroud that we're seeing in the NFL right now. He has been lights out. Definitely the best rookie QB of the bunch so far. Obviously, we have years and years of judging how this rookie class and how these rookie QBs play out. I mean, hey, if you would have called the 2020 rookie class after 5 games, would have been... Actually, I don't even know who it would have been, because Joe Burrow tore his ACL, so he didn't even play in 2020. So it just would have been Herbert, I guess Tua by default, because at least he played 2020, then Burrow, and then Jalen Hurts. Now, I put all 4 of those QBs in the same conversation. Actually, I don't know. Burrow is hurt, so I shouldn't be looking at his recent play and being like, that's going to translate for the rest of the season. I'll still put Burrow in that one tier above where I have Tua and Herbert and Hurts, but that 2020 draft was special. If you got a QB in that, you got a good QB. What game was I talking about, though? The Houston Texans. So CJ Stroud has been very, very good to start his career so far. Dameon Pierce has just not been able to get anything going on the ground. Hasn't been a good start. Rookie Tank Dell has been a monster so far. He had 5 catches for 145 yards in this game, 1 touchdown. He's been a monster. Other rookie Will Anderson had a blocked field goal in this. Yeah. Texans are fun. And I said this in the offseason, where I don't think the Texans are going to be one of these bad teams that are just kind of a pushover. Because right now, I think the only team that's been like that has been the Bears, where they're the only truly bad team in the NFL right now. Because I think everyone else, I give them a chance to win any given Sunday. The Bears, not so much. And we'll talk about that game in a bit. The Jags on the other side, though. Not great. The red zone... No. Yeah. I don't know. The offense, it looks like it's so close to being there and so close for things to working, but it's just not right now. And there was a couple key drops that could have changed the outcome of this game, but didn't. Last thing I have to say about the Texans. Andrew Beck, their fullback / tight end, had actually, I'm going to get the numbers right on this because he deserves his praise. He had a 85-yard kick return for a touchdown. Andrew Beck listed at 6'3", 255, 85-yard kick return. The highlight of his career. You absolutely love to see things like that. Yeah. Okay, back to the Jags. Jags offense has just not been clicking. It's been close, and things have worked well some weeks, not worked well other weeks, and things that haven't worked well some weeks have worked well in other weeks. hasn't been cohesive, hasn't been all on the same page yet, and I'm sure that they'll get there. We're still very, very early in this season. However, this Jags defense that I've kind of been praising a little bit was a very, very rough game, especially for a Texans team that had four starters missing from the offensive line, and guys like Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker couldn't do anything. Am I worried about the Jags? I'm not. I think that they'll get back on track. I think that they'll safely win this division, even though the Colts right now are leading that division, which is absolutely nuts. Because it's the Colts at 2-1, then Jags, Titans, and Texans all at 1-2 right now. Again, I think things will change, but this is not a game that you expect the Jags to lose. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence now is 1-4 against the Texans for his career, which is just objectively funny considering how bad the Texans have been. I mean, I guess the Jags have also been very bad in that time frame. Yeah, we'll keep going though. Next game up, we have the Patriots and the Jets. Patriots 15, Jets 10. My one note for this game is this is the game that no one watched unless you are a Patriots or Jets fan. Didn't come across Red Zone once. Let's talk about the Patriots, though. This was another wet, rainy game. The defense did exactly what they should against Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback in football. They did their job. They did exactly what they needed to do. So I don't really care about what the Patriots did this week. This is exactly what should have happened. Should they have probably won by more? Maybe. The Jets do have a very good defense. I'll say that. Yeah, I don't know what to talk about in this game. The Jets stink. I think they're bringing in Trevor Siemian as a backup or potential. I think there's better quarterbacks available than Trevor Siemian. I think Trevor Siemian is definitely better than Zach Wilson. Like, Zach Wilson just sucks. He just flat out sucks. There's no way to sugarcoat that, really. I don't know. I think the one noteworthy thing to come out of this game was Mac Jones likes grabbing other people's nuts. Sauce Gardner proceeded to throw him to the ground after that, and then Mac Jones complained and whined about, "Oh, he pushed me." Don't go grab another guy's junk. That's just a weird thing. The comparison getting thrown around is Mac Jones is the NFL equivalent to Grayson Allen. If you don't know the name Grayson Allen, I mean, look up his highlights at Duke. That man is one of the most, not even dirty, just cheap shots and tripping people and just being an all-around piece of shit. I think Mac Jones is getting very close to that. I don't think there are a lot of defensive players that like him around the league. I think he's getting a reputation of being that kind of guy, and you don't want to be that kind of guy, because in football, it's not like, oh, I can get under a guy's skin, and like, it's just, Mac is a loser. I think it's easy to say. He's just a loser. Is he a fine NFL quarterback? Sure. Is he a loser? You're goddamn right he's a loser. Yeah, I have nothing football related to talk about this game, though, other than, yeah, Mac Jones likes grabbing other guys' nuts. We will keep moving on, though, onto was the best game. Truly the best game, best offensive performance I have ever seen in the NFL ever. Broncos 20, Dolphins 70. Yes, you heard that right. Dolphins 70. They won by 50 points. Let's just start off with some stats here. Most yards in an NFL game in history. 1951. The Rams versus the Yanks. Who the fuck are the Yanks? I don't know. They had 735. The Dolphins, last Sunday, 726 against Denver. And the 1958 Steelers had 683 against the Cards. Most points in a game in NFL history. Technically, the record goes to Washington versus the Giants in 1966 with 72. But technically, it's the Bears versus Washington in 1940 when they had 73 points. And here are the Dolphins 60 years later putting up 70 in the modern NFL. Again, I'm saying 66. I'm saying 1940. That's when football wasn't even football. That was just, it was more rugby than anything back then. So absolutely just mind-blowing that the Dolphins scored 70. The Dolphins scored more points on Sunday than 18 other teams have this season. 18 other teams haven't scored 70 points in their 3 games so far. The Dolphins did that in 1 game. Talk about this running game, though, which was absolutely tremendous. Devon Achane. It is not A-Chain. Apparently it's A-Chan, so I'll try to keep doing that. Devon Achane, 18 carries, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, then 4 catches for 30 yards for another 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns total. Raheem Mostert, 13 carries for 82 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 catches for 60 yards, 1 touchdown. We had 2 running backs with 8 total touchdowns. Absolutely unbelievable. Tua at half was 16 for 16 for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns on the game. He finished 23 of 26, 309 yards, 4 TDs. He had more touchdowns than incompletions in this game. I am the happiest I have ever been as a Dolphins fan. I think most Dolphins fans should share that same joy. Obviously, not many of us were around for that perfect 72 season, but the 70 points in a game, man, my God. I'm happy that Chew isn't here to rain on my parade and be like, oh, do it when it matters, or I don't even know. God, the people trying to discount a 70-point game is nuts. It doesn't happen. It's happened 3 times now in NFL history. I got Tony being like, oh, hang the banner, 70-point. You're goddamn right we're going to hang a banner. Are you kidding me? That's so impressive. There's going to be a mural somewhere in Hard Rock Stadium commemorating us putting up 70 points on the Denver fucking Broncos in a professional football game. These are 2 professional teams that played against each other, and the Dolphins won by fucking 50. This is something that's to be celebrated. It should be celebrated. And to just add, we did all of this without Jalen Waddle on the field. The Dolphins are humming. I don't know what else to say. We have the best offense in football. Our offensive line, that has been an issue these last couple years. We finally got solid coaching. We finally have the same kind of offensive line. They're all getting used to each other. We've only allowed 1 sack on the year so far. The run game, which was an issue last year, we have one of the better run games in football right now. Our passing attack is unbelievable with all of the motions that McDaniel is doing with Tyreek and Waddle. It's so hard for anyone to cover. It's great. And people are like, oh, you're going to come back crashing down the earth. And yeah, we will. We can't score 70 every week. But right now, I mean, we scored... What did we fucking put up against the Chargers week 1 there? I forget now. Chargers week 1, we scored 36. Patriots, we scored 24. We also missed 2 field goals in that game. Chew doesn't like to bring that up, though. And then we scored 70 on the Broncos. This is going to be one of the better offenses in the NFL, regardless if it comes back down to earth at some point, and it will. Everyone ebbs and flows in their season, has down games, has off weeks. I mean, the Chiefs lost to the Colts last year. The Bills in 2020 lost to the Jags that were winless. Things happen. Weird things happen, but this Dolphins team is locked and ready to go. And it wasn't just the offense this game. Obviously, the offense scored fucking 10 touchdowns, but the defense still played very well. Javon Holland has been playing like one of the best safeties in football. He had 2 forced fumbles on the day, both on Courtland Sutton. Our defense was getting there with pressure, and it's not like the Broncos' offense really played bad. I don't think that they did. The Dolphins' offense was just clicking on another level, and the Broncos' defense couldn't do anything to stop them. I mean, there are some screen caps from this game, too, where there's A-Chain following his lead blocker, and everyone behind him, there's like 4 Broncos defensive linemen just lying down on the